Hello and welcome to KindaFunny Games Daily for Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. I am your host, Mohsen, and joining me is the Rogue One, Gary Weir. How you doing, Gary?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
You know what? I got COVID. You hate to see
yeah. Oh
it.
my God.
I
Tell me,
got
tell me all
COVID.
about it. How'd you get it?
So the gamers gave it to me,
The
sadly.
gamers?
The gamers gave it to me. I went to Summer Game Fest and weirdly enough, I was perfectly fine the entire time. Like this Sunday, so we were leaving to come back on the Monday. The Sunday I woke up with like a scratchy throat, and I was like, well, I've got a bit of a scratchy throat. But I put it down to like all the air conditioning, like intense air conditioning that was like
Yeah,
just going
yeah.
through me, and a lot of like cold Diet Cokes, which is what we sustain ourselves on while
Of
there. So I was
course,
like,
yeah.
cold drinks always mess me up. I went through the Sunday perfectly fine. Woke up in the morning on Monday, perfectly fine. Monday was the day I was flying out. And I was like, no problems. I had slight scratchy throat again. Got to the airport, got into the plane, sat in the plane in between two unmasked people, and
Mm.
then got back, and I was like, my throat is a little more scratchy. It's weird. Got inside, laid down, and then that's when it like really hit me. Like I just got, when you just get the fever and you feel it like wash over you, and you're like, okay, I feel sick now. And like I felt slightly off, like I could feel it, and I had a PCR test booked for the next day. So I went and got the PCR test first thing in the morning, came back and like got in bed, and I was like, okay, now it's really hitting me hard, really hard, and it like that's when it like full on got me.
What
And
was
then the
like the
next,
worst that you felt?
the worst I felt was like a really, really, really high fever, coupled with like just intense body like fatigue.
Ugh.
I'm quite a tired person as usual. Like I struggle with sleep, and I have a lot of like fatigue issues already. Like I've been doing like speaking to doctors about it, getting like sleep tests and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But like this felt like it supercharged that fatigue. And like now like I've recovered. I recovered. The fever broke within a day, which was I was very fortunate. I hit it with the classic like home Pakistani remedies. Like I got like loads of turmeric based products and ginger based products, and it really helped. And then obviously I'm boosted and I've got vaxxed up as well. So like I'm a little bit better in that situation. So the fever passed within a day. The rest of the week was spent like just very tired, very tired. And then by the end of Friday, I was fine. Saturday, I tested negative, and I have been testing negative since. The problem is, as you can tell, I still have a cough, and
Yeah.
it's like not going away. And my concern is, some people are like, "Yeah, I had COVID last year, and I still have a cough." And like, there's like not a lot of understanding of the lingering symptoms. I've seen
Yeah, I mean, the
everything.
long COVID thing is no joke, right? Like some people have never got their sense of taste back, things like that. Like there's some real long-term
Yeah.
problems.
So like the thing I'm struggling with right now is like I have a cough that sounds like a bad cough, and it
Hmm.
is a bad cough, but I don't have COVID. I just have the cough. And so like I'm unsettling people around me where they're like,
Right.
"Oh shit, this is scary." And I'm like, "No, trust me, I'm fine. It's just this cough won't go away."
I was thinking about this recently. We kind of live in like a movie type reality, you know. How like in a movie, someone like does like an innocent cough, and you go, "Oh, they're dead. They've got the
Yeah.
plague."
Yeah,
Now
they've
that's
got
like
the
that's what
plague.
it's like. No one coughs in a movie for no reason,
That
right?
that happened
Now,
to
and
me.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing now. Anyone coughs, it's like, whoa, what's
Yeah,
going on?
that happened to me with like I immediately felt that kind of like, oh, this is a different world now. We live in a different world of germs when I got my first COVID test, the PCR
Yeah,
test.
yeah,
When like I went and like there was a queue of people and I got to the front, I went round a corner and a lady obviously stuck a Q-tip up my nose and really like jiggled. This is back in
yeah.
the day when they thought that they needed to touch your brain with the
Right,
Q-tip.
jam it right up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like she really got in there and like started like doing like fucking baseball motions in there, both nostrils. And it obviously like it like tickled me. So I came around the corner and I could feel like the tickle there. And the first thing I did is like I turned the corner and I just went, "Achoo!" Like big sneeze. I look up and there is just a line of mortified people like, "Oh my god, we're
I
gonna
can.
get COVID."
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
literally looked at them and I said, she tickled my nose, and then I just like walked off,
Oh my
and people were
god.
like so weird about it. But now, yeah, every time, like I was in the office last week, and I'm clear to be in the office, like I'm fine, but like I would be just be like, and people would be like, "Oh my god, we're getting COVID." I'm like, "No, I'm clear. Like I've got a test here that says I'm good." But like it starts sometimes it's like a normal cough, like the one that just happened there. That was a real cough. Sometimes it's one of those ones where I'm like coughing intensely to the point where like I've given myself a headache. So
Oh my god.
it's a bad time. I would recommend, despite what the world looks like around you, if you haven't already been vaccinated and boosted, do that. But also, despite what people tell you, keep wearing your masks, man, because like it's you can still get it. I was vaxxed, I was boosted, and I got it. And that was purely because other people around me weren't taking it seriously. Like in Summer Games Fest, I wore my mask as much as possible. And I got unlucky as well. And the fact of the matter is, you can get unlucky. I was with people who were absolutely fine, like the entire time. Like I was with Lucy James, and she hasn't got it, whereas I got unlucky. So it's still a thing, man. Just be careful about it. You haven't had
Yeah,
it
I
yet,
mean,
right, Gareth?
it worries me a lot because we just got to a point like we like as a people we've just all kind of got bored of it, right? It's right,
Yeah.
like yeah, COVID that was last year, right? Like we're kind of bored of wearing masks and like that was like a cool thing to do for a while, but now like we just want to move on. But like COVID is not fucking moving on; it's still
No.
around, and
No.
so I haven't heard of a single like big event recently that's taken place like in our universe, like Star Wars Celebration,
Yeah.
PAX. You just said Summer Games Fest. There's COVID cases have been coming out of all of these
Yeah. And
get-togethers. So
and the difficult thing is like the world is trying to move on, and it can be to a lot of people's detriment. People are trying currently talking about like Comic-Con and Gamescom, and I'm just like, I don't know about that, man. Like, especially not Gamescom. Gamescom is like the true test of whether COVID is still a thing is if the Gamescom happens and there are no cases.
right.
That's what, because Gamescom is just a
No, there'll be
petri dish
cases. Of course there will
of
be.
like horrifying things happening. Like Gamescom is gross on in the best of times. Like, and in the COVID world, I'm just like,
I
oh, it
mean,
has to be a super
I've
spreader event.
I've got a comic convention coming up at the end of August, and I just booked my hotel for TwitchCon, which I would love to go to. That's in October,
Yeah.
but I was looking at I was my hotel room is fully refundable up until October 3rd, and who knows? As we get
Yeah.
closer to it, you kind of take it day by day. You can't really commit to anything, but
Mm.
you try to plan, but you also know that it could go tits up at any point.
Exactly, yeah. Which TwitchCon are you planning to go to?
San
The
Diego.
US? Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about that as well. Maybe I'll see you there.
The last one I went to the last one before all the hammer came down, TwitchCon 2019, and I went there not expecting to have a good time because I'm a bit older than the typical Twitch demographic. I was terrified to go in there and feeling like it was going to be like, well, whose dad are you? Like just feeling like very how do you do fellow kids about going to
Yeah.
TwitchCon and being surrounded by all these young, attractive, millennial streamers and feeling very out of place. But in
Mm.
the end, I actually had a great time. I loved it, and I would highly recommend if you're thinking about going. COVID concerns aside, like
Yeah.
that you should go. I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and go this year. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll come up with an excuse to get work to let me to go.
Yeah,
We'll see.
do a couple of panels. It's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
There's always lots of
Exciting.
fun events and stuff. It's good. I actually really liked it
Yeah,
more
maybe
than
I
I
can
thought I would.
learn a thing or two as well about streaming while out there. Who knows? But yeah. Anyways, today's stories include Persona finally coming to Switch, a surprise launch for the Portal collection, and some info on the Horizon TV show, as well as much, much more. Because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/ Kind of Funny Games, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/ you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/ Kind of Funny Games, roosterteeth.com, or listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kind of Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. And to be part of the show, head to patreon.com/ Kind of Funny Games, where bronze members are above, get to write in, and silver members are above, get the show ad-free, along with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping, I mean, goddamn, one time why can't it be a bad game of sweeping? A new Kind of Funny X cast went up over the weekend, and it features the one and only Greg Miller. Yes, P.S. I love yous, Greg
Greg
Miller.
Miller on the Xcast.
You
Cats and
never
dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
wild. You can check that out now. The crew talks about As Dusk Falls and whether it might be one of the best stories of the year. If you want to check that out, you can go to youtube.com/KindaFunny Games and on podcast services around the globe, obviously. After this, there's going to be an Outriders World Slayer stream. That's part of a sponsored stream, and you'll be able to tune in and hang out with Mike, Greg, and Bless as they tear apart new enemies in a brand new environment in Outriders. That'll be live right after Kind of Funny Games Daily on twitch.tv/Kind of Funny Games, and you can also check it out on Kind of Funny Plays later. Thank you to our Patreon producers Gordon McGuire and Fargo Brady. Today we're brought to you by Athletic Greens, but we'll tell you more about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and will forever be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We've got 3 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
So
Roger, jumping the gun there.
I did it. I did it yesterday too. It's just like I don't know, man. I like it. I get so excited. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Roger's
absolutely.
excited. So I said 3 stories, but one of those stories is a recap of Nintendo Direct. So it includes a bunch of things within it. So
that's good though, because I would like a recap of Nintendo Direct. You can't get me out of bed at 6 a.m, so give me the update now instead.
Okay, we'll start with the big stuff. Okay, so the big one, Gary, was Nintendo Switch is finally getting Persona 5 Royal along with Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable. This comes from Phil Hornshaw over at GameSpot, the #1 video game website on the internet. Persona 5 characters have been hanging around in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for years now, but if you wanted to actually play Persona 5 on Nintendo Switch, you've been out of luck. That changes this fall when Atlus is releasing a port of Persona 5 Royal on Nintendo's console hybrid, 2 years after its initial release, and it's just one of 3 Persona games coming to Switch. In addition to Persona 5 Royal, the Direct revealed that 2 more Persona games are destined for the Switch, Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable. Though both Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable were available on PlayStation Vita, the latter by way of backwards compatible PSP version, they never made it to any of Nintendo's consoles, handheld or otherwise. Persona 5 Royal's release date, which is October 21st. That's also the date Persona 5 is set to launch on Xbox Game Pass. Nintendo did not offer a release date for Persona 4 Golden or Persona 3 Portable for Switch. It only said they were coming soon. Gary, how do you feel about Persona 4, Persona 5, and Persona 3 coming to the Switch finally?
Well, I'm a big fan of Persona 5. It was my favorite game. Whatever year it was that I first played it, it was my favorite game of that year. I absolutely loved it, and I had never played a Persona game before. It was my first entry into the Persona universe, and I had 100+ hours in that game. Absolutely loved every minute of it. I loved the characters, loved the world, loved the vibe, loved the storytelling, loved the music. Of course, who can forget the music? Just such a great. I loved every minute that I spent with that game. And I haven't played Royal yet. I did pick it up. There was a special on it for PlayStation recently, but I think what I'm gonna now that it's coming to Xbox, that'll probably be my platform of choice. But I'm just thrilled. It's one of these things where Persona is such a great game. Persona 5 in particular is such a great game that you kind of want everyone to have the opportunity to experience how great it is. But it's always seemed like, for some reason, I guess the general sentiment, the vibe has always been it's just going to be stuck on PlayStation forever. Like other platforms are never going to get a look in. But then very quickly, all at once, suddenly the floodgates opened. Right, the Xbox announcement came during the Xbox showcase just recently, and now here comes the Nintendo version as well. So finally, everybody is going to be able, and of course it is coming to PC as well. So everyone's going to be able to get their hands on Persona 5. And of course, if you've never played Persona 5, particularly now that it's coming in the form of the Royal, which is even better than basic Persona 5, play that game. It's so good. Can't recommend it highly enough.
Royal is fantastic. The only tricky part with Royal is you basically have to play the entire game again to get to the new content, and you also have to make sure that you hit a certain there's certain requirements to make sure you activate the new semester, which is interesting.
Oh,
But like it's
I will
well
probably
worth it.
employ a guide to make sure that I get all of that right.
It's yeah, you should read a guide to make sure that you get it, but it's generally like you just have to spend time with certain people to max out their social links.
Listen, I did that on the first playthrough. I
Yeah.
found when you know the parts of Persona 5 where you have to like take the exams and get the questions right. I looked all those answers up. I didn't want to fuck around. There's no shame in that, right?
Not at all, no. But this is like I 100%. I recently played through majority of Royal, and it was like a fun replay experience. That was my like fourth playthrough, and I got to the new stuff. And sadly, I haven't finished the new stuff, but everything that I've played of it so far is very good. Do you have any interest in playing 4 or 3 now?
I've been on the fence about that because I've looked at because each Persona game is it's like a different cast of characters and a different aesthetic, right? It's like Final Fantasy.
Hmm.
They kind of they kind of reboot it every time. I've looked a little bit at P3 and P4, and I don't know. I love these games, but there's just something about the very specific aesthetic and music and style. And I just love all those characters, the Phantom Thieves. I can't get enough of them. I want that. So here's the thing: you know how they kind of reboot it every time.
Yeah,
If and when they do Persona 6, I kind of don't want them to do a whole. I just want them to do like Persona 5 2. Do you know what I mean? I would just
yeah.
prefer. I just stick with what I already know that I love.
Interesting. Did you play Strikers?
I did, and I liked that too.
Okay, cool. So you're just firmly in on the Persona 5 universe.
All in on the Phantom Thieves. I can't get enough of it. So, and when you say the only problem with Royal is you got to play through it all again to get the bonus content, for me it's been long enough since I played through Persona 5 the first time around that sometimes it's not a chore at all. I'm going to consider that a delight to play
Yeah,
through Persona 5 all over again. I've said this a million times, but like my favorite games are the games where I feel like it's not a game that I play, but it's a place where I go. Like when I
yeah,
play Mass Effect, I feel like I'm just going to that universe and living in that universe. When I play GTA, I feel like I'm in Los Santos and I'm just existing in
yeah.
that space. And when I play Persona 5, I just loved hanging out at the coffee shop and being in that world and hanging out at the school with my friends, and it was just a cool place to be. And I just love that game just exudes
Yeah.
coolness. It's just so effortlessly cool. I just love
I,
it.
as someone who's played all of them, the interesting thing for me is I feel like Persona 5 of all the games is more of a sit down experience for me. Like I want to sit down
Mm,
at a big TV with a
I
good pair
agree.
of headphones and like almost like have a cinematic experience with it.
Yes, couldn't agree
However,
more.
Persona 3 and 4 I feel like are way better as portable bite-sized experiences.
Hmm.
I think 3 especially is amazing because it's it is a regression from where we are now. It's got a procedurally generated kind of it's got one aesthetic and it uses like a procedurally generated dungeon that you go through over and over and over again. So it feels more like a roguelike in that fashion. But narratively it's very interesting. It's a murder mystery. And the vibe is a little more like hip hop focused, which
Okay.
I think if you were to play one, I think four's got a very strong cast. So for me, my recommendation to you, if you were thinking about it, is if you want something that's like a portable dip in, dip out style kind of experience, then three's on Switch is good. But if you want a cast to get behind again, four is a good next step
Yeah,
from the
I've had
Phantom Thieves.
P4G on Steam for ages now. I just got to get around to it. But I think the next time I go back to Persona, I think will be Royal, most likely on Xbox. Let me ask you this: do you think there's any concern, knowing what we know about Persona 5, the kind of game it is? Do you think there's any concern about performance on Switch?
Uh, hmm. I think that you can. I think the Switch is capable of being absolutely fine with it. I don't think it's going to run super high resolution. I think it doesn't really need to. That game's style carries it so far that it's like sharpness and fidelity doesn't need to be super high, if you know what I mean. I think like running that game in like 720p in a portable fashion, the
Yeah,
Switch should be
I think
very
you'll be right.
capable of it.
It's just something I've started to become a little bit more aware of recently. I mean, previously, I famously kind of like would argue with Tim, and Tim was saying, "Oh, we need a Switch Pro, a Switch 4K, or whatever." I was like,
Yeah.
"No, it's fine. It's good enough. It does the job." But like the thing that really turned it around for me was when Fall Guys came out on Switch recently, and it's really the performance is really poor
Oh no.
on Switch, and
Yeah.
like you don't necessarily think it's like Fall Guys as like a game that is like pushing system requirements, but like it's really framey and just kind of
Yeah.
janky on Switch. Maybe they'll patch it, but it's not in great shape. And I'm starting to feel like maybe we are now, just in a broader context, getting
Yeah.
to the point where the Switch is starting to fall behind a little bit on some of these games in terms of performance.
I think what the Persona 5 specifically has going for it is like they did release a PS3 version of that game and it was perfectly fine. So obviously that was the vanilla version of the game, I
Right,
believe.
right.
I don't know if they did Royal for that, which is extra content, but
I didn't know Persona 5 went all the way back to the PS3. That's interesting.
yeah, it's one of those ones that kind of snuck out. I mean, they always made a big deal about it being there, but like over time, they focused more on PlayStation 4. But yeah, I think that game's locked at 30 anyway, so it
Right.
should be fine. It's more of a content size thing that's going to be interesting because that game is massive. It's a good 150 hours minimum.
Yeah, well,
So there's got to be some compression.
and the problem there, Tan, this is the only thing I don't like about Persona 5, and the only thing that I'm dreading a little bit about going back to it is I don't like, I forget the name of it now. What do they call it? But that subway dungeon that you have to
Oh,
grind over and
Mementos.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that I wish they'd find a way around this. It was Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is my favorite game of last year, does the same thing. Like there are these repeatable dungeons that you just have to keep hitting up in order to grind and level up in order to be able to do the final, the final story dungeons.
Mm.
And I wish RPGs could find a way around that where they don't force you to just relentlessly repeat dungeons to grind up to the level required. But Persona, I noticed that two of my favorite JRPGs of recent years, and I'm not an expert in JRPGs at all, but I noticed that both Like a Dragon and Persona 5 both have these endlessly repeatable dungeons that you have to grind over and over and over in order to get like fully, boosted up to the level you need to be to complete the game.
Yeah, I think Mementos is largely the same in Royal, but I think they've tweaked the battles so it's a little zippier and you can use like exploitations of like elemental and alignment stuff to make it a little smoother. And you also have like these extra moves and that kind of stuff, special moves that make battles like way easier to just wipe groups of enemies.
Right.
So there's definitely like a few, and I think there's like some stuff within Mementos that makes it easier for you to get around, which is nice.
Yeah, it's my least favorite part of the game, but I mean that's the only criticism I really have of Persona 5. I pretty much loved every minute I spent in that game. And again, just that, like, I still listen to the music in my car all the time. What a soundtrack!
It's incredible, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited that more people will be able to check that game out on Switch soon. Another game that more people will be able to check out on Switch, Gary, is Nier Automata, or Nier Automata, depending on how you pronounce it, which is coming to Switch this fall with all new content, new costumes. This comes from the #2 video game website in the world, GameSpot.com, Phil Hornshaw and Gabe Gerwin. Nier Automata is coming to Nintendo Switch more than 5 years after it launched on PlayStation 4. With it, Switch players will finally be able to experience one of the biggest surprise hits of the last decade, and one that had a profound impact on some of its players. Nintendo made the announcement during its June Direct mini showcase, where it provided a few details about what players can expect from the Switch version. The End of Yorha edition includes all previously released content for the game, including DLC and costumes. The Switch version also has an exclusive costume of its own, which will be available at launch. Nier Automata releases for Switch on October 6th. Gary, Nier Automata, played the original? Interested in this?
Well, I want to ask you what you think. Do you think I should play? This is a question I've asked other people before, and actually, I asked exactly the wrong people. The last time I asked this question, I believe I was on either this show or another show with Greg and Blessing, and I said to them, "Do you think I should play Nier Automata?" And as it turns out, they're both very like, Blessing was like 100% yes, and Greg was like, God no. Like they're really split on it, and so I didn't know like who. Obviously, if it's between Greg and Blessing, I'll always go with Blessing. But it was interesting that they were very, very polarized on it. I want to ask you. 2B seems like a cool character. It seems like an interesting world. Like it intrigues me. Would I actually enjoy it though?
I think so. It depends on. I think that what I would do is recommend you play it because it does some really fascinating things with the medium. Fundamentally, baseline, it's a character action game, and I would say playing it wasn't the most exciting part of it for me. I found I'm not as up on Nier Automata as most people are, like in terms of the gameplay. It's got a really interesting system to it, but it just didn't quite work for me. However, narrative and characterization and what it's doing with the medium to kind of subvert what you expect, and it's messing with gameplay styles. I think it's an incredibly fascinating game. Like it's one of those things where you owe it to yourself to be educated on what it tried to do, regardless of whether it lands for you. For some people it lands
Yeah,
and
I
it's
should at
like
least try
incredible.
it. Like so when you talk about
It's
narrative and the world is good, that kind of stuff is
Yeah.
always big for
The
me.
the
But I mean,
tricky
but like,
thing the tricky thing with it is it's one of those games where it's an onion. Like the first layer of it seems very normal. And
uh-huh.
you're like, you'll probably play through the game and complete it, and then be like, I don't get it. The thing about that game is it is designed from the foundation to be replayed multiple times, and
Okay.
not in a sense that, oh, when you replay it the second time you get, more powerful. No, it knows that you're restarting the game, and it basically provides brand new. It's like Rashomon,
There's all
basically.
kinds of different endings, right? That you
Yeah,
can
there's
get.
loads of endings. Like when you replay the game, you get different perspectives. There's ways to do like runs of the game that last like half an hour. And
Oh wow.
the idea is to try and aim to get all of these different endings, different paths, because then it gives you the whole picture of everything that happens in the story. And every time you replay the game, it's a little bit quicker. You'll get to the end point a little bit faster. The first playthrough is the longest, but then everything else is the shortest. But you are sometimes retreading old ground. But like the first time you do it, you're like, okay. Second time you do it, you're like, this is similar, but things are different. And then the third time, it's like drastically different. And each
Okay,
point
that's
on there, you're
interesting.
like, it's really fascinating because it maintains awareness of what you know at the time that you're replaying it. So it's kind of like keeping an eye on you to know that this is in their third playthrough. So they have the context for these things. So narratively, they introduce another thing that recontextualizes what happens before. It's like really fascinating, and it switches between being a character action game and then suddenly being like a shmup. And the whole kind of like thematic and narrative part of it is, I don't want to kind of like spoil it, but like it's got a lot to do with like sentience and that kind of stuff. Is a really fascinating world, and at the very least, it will give you an appreciation for Yoko Taro. And because he's like, I hate to use the word auteur, but like he clearly had a vision for the game,
Right.
and he clearly had a kind of understanding, and he's always had this kind of like understanding of this world between Nier, the original one, and Drakengard, which is like a spin-off. Nier is a spin-off of, and it's like it's worth. Also, another game that has an absolutely incredible soundtrack. Like one of the
Oh, cool.
best. Like it's. I finished that game and I was like, I'm not super into this, but I think this might be one of the greatest video game soundtracks ever created.
Ooh, okay.
Like
Oh, you're selling me now. These are all the
it's
things that I like.
it's phenomenal. Like the soundtrack alone is worth. You can listen to the soundtrack with no context for the game and just be like, this is incredible musical composition. Like this is
Okay.
amazing.
Maybe I'll
Um,
listen to some of that later and get a
yeah,
vibe for it.
it's good.
I'm pretty
And
sure I have it on PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4 version. Maybe I'll just like, you know what I like about this? Because I was thinking about this is a good game to play on stream. Because one of the things I really like about streaming like older games,
yeah,
where people in your chat like have probably there's bound to be someone there that's already played through it, whatever, is that like when you get stuck, there's always someone in the chat that can like give you a tip or whatever, or
yeah,
I really enjoy playing old sometimes even if it's like a newer game, like the people in your chat have like already finished it like super
yeah.
fast or whatever. But when you're coming back to like a classic game, it's like one of the things I like about streaming games with an audience is that it's like having your own kind of live interactive helpline. Like people, there's always someone in the chat that will like,
Yeah.
go, you've got to go left to get the thing or whatever. I love that.
I think that's a great way to play it, especially because there's a reverence for that game where most people who watch another person play Nier Automata, they have a unspoken rule where the goal is to preserve the experience for the streamer, and it's the
Mm.
only kind of thing. The only other time I've seen it happen is with the Outer Wilds, where everyone who watches Outer Wild stream has like agreed to ensure that they don't spoil the experience for anyone. That
Oh
happened to
yeah.
me, and it's like it's a beautiful thing.
You got to
Like,
have
and
strict rules about no spoiling when you play older games.
I didn't even enforce it for Outer Wilds. People have just such a love of that narrative that they
Right.
understand what it means, and I think it's the same for Nier Automata, where people are more likely to just nudge you in a direction as opposed to tell you what is happening and what to do, because it's one of those things where it's like open to interpretation as well in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. So I highly recommend playing it on stream if you can. I 100% recommend checking it out, especially for someone who like writes narratives and like it works within the medium. Like you'll have it'll definitely like open a door in your mind to be like, this is an interesting way to think about it, and it might kind of like impact your work in a lot of ways as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think you finally convinced me to give it a try.
Awesome. Another game that you can give a try if you want to is the Portal Collection, which is launching today on Nintendo Switch. This comes from number 3 video game website in the world, GameSpot.com, written by Eddie McCooch and Jessica Howard. Announced as part of June 28th Nintendo Direct Mini, that's today, the Portal Companion Collection is coming to Nintendo Switch today. The announcement was one of the show's final big surprises to wrap things up. Portal and Portal 2 were announced for Switch back in February.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch version will include local, online, and split-screen cooperative play. The Portal Companion Collection costs $20 on Switch. Any interest in going back to Portal?
Maybe. I mean, so it's just 1 and 2, right? That's the collection, the two games.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you've got a Nintendo Switch and you've never played a Portal game, this will be the best $20 you've ever spent in your life.
Oh yeah,
right?
especially for 2 co-op.
Oh, I mean, just the whole thing. I mean, Portal alone. I mean, I go back. You know, I still stand by this. To me, the orange box is probably the best thing that's ever been released.
Oh yeah.
Like, think about what you got back then. Half-Life, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Team Fortress 2, and Portal, just absolute bangers. And the original Portal is still a classic. Portal 2, probably I think one of the best sequels ever made. Like, they somehow found a way to take it to the next level. Like you said, that co-op mode, just absolutely brilliant. Two of the greatest games of all time for $20.
Yeah,
no brainer.
Yeah, the orange box was amazing. For some reason in my mind, I got it in my head that Counter-Strike was part of that, but it wasn't.
No,
I just remember
it was Half-Life 2 Episode 1,
yeah,
Team Fortress 2, and Portal.
Yeah, TF2 was amazing as well. Like that was oh god, playing that on PC.
Oh my god, it's many happy memories of playing TF2 back in the day.
So good. The console versions though were an absolute catastrophe.
I know. Valve obviously is a PC company, but they really did let those PlayStation and Xbox versions. They just sent them out to die. They just did not give a shit about them.
It was so bad that it like made you question whether Valve even knew what servers were, because it was like so bad.
It was bad. It was bad.
I remember when I was a kid, that was my first and only version of TF2 that I ever played, and for years I played it and I loved it, and then I found the PC version. I was like, wait, why isn't half the things of this in the Xbox version? It was like a completely different game. It blew my mind.
They just did not care to support those console versions at all. It was a real shame.
And funnily enough, they are actively, like, they released an update for TF2 a week or so ago. So like they are actively still working on.
It's
TF2.
still going. They're having some. Really recently, they've been having some problems with TF2 recently with bots. I know Rebecca Valentine was writing about this recently. The Team Fortress 2 community is not happy with this proliferation of bots. There's big bot infestations on TF2 right now. I don't know. Valve makes so much money on Steam that they don't really need to do anything else. But I kind of wish they would move the ball forward. Like, give us the next orange box. Give us Team Fortress 3. Give us Portal 3. Come on. Let's.
Do they have like? I mean, they've got what would be in a new orange box. Like they don't have a big single player kind of experience. Like it would be Half-Life Alyx, right?
Well, I mean, you're not going to, I think I don't think Half-Life 3. I mean, I would take Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Don't forget Episode 1 ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And we never got any resolution to it. I would take the next, you call it the purple box, whatever you want to call it. I would take Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Team Fortress 3, and Portal 3. What a package.
I guess they could chuck Dota in there. That's their thing, right?
I mean, at this point, these games are now so big. You have to remember at the time that they did Portal and Team Fortress 2, these were kind of like experimental games, right? Nobody knew for sure if Portal was going to hit, and then it did. Now, obviously, if there were a Portal 3, it would, like much like Portal 2, it would just be its own standalone game. But my God, how I want those things.
Yeah, and just because I know everyone in chat is going to be freaking out, Gary did mean Episode 2. I'm sure he knows. Relax, everyone, chill. We got.
What did I say?
2. You said Episode 1.
Oh, I'm saying Episode 1 was what shipped with the orange box. I'm saying I want Episode 2.
Episode 2 happened.
It was on the orange box too. As well.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Episode 3 is the one you're probably.
Episode 3, or just again. I mean, Half-Life 3. Obviously, it's beyond a joke at this point, right? But we want it. Somebody put
we
up a
need it.
YouTube video recently of kind of Half-Life 3, like an amateur tech demo done in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
My God, did it look good.
looks good. Yeah,
Oh my God,
and
the things they could do.
there was that leak of all the concept art for Half-Life 3, remember? In that icy area. Like I think I can't remember what it's called, Borealis or something like that. I can't remember. Years ago, but there was a lot of like leaks. There was a period where Half-Life 3 artwork was leaking, and it showed like Alex and Gordon in a bunch of like snowy areas, and we got Alex the game,
We
which
got
is
Alex, obviously
great.
very restricted to people with high-end VR headsets.
Yeah, I mean, it works on Quest, Oculus Quest 2.
Well, not by itself. You still got to
Not by
plug it
itself.
into a
You've
PC.
got to plug
yeah.
it into a PC. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
or you can do the Rift Link thing. But I would love to
yeah.
see it come to PSVR 2, for example.
it has to. Surely it has to. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure Valve are like content with how it's performed, but I imagine it's only a matter of time before they're like, oh,
It's too
new.
good a game to be restricted to such a narrow audience, people
Yeah.
with those headsets.
For sure. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to speed through a few more stories from Nintendo Direct. Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope releasing October 20th. This comes from number 4 video game website in the world, best video game website in GameSpot. Jessica Howard writes, the newest entry in the Mario plus Rabbids series, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, is set to release October 20th. The release date first leaked with a store listing, but has been confirmed in the latest Nintendo Direct Mini. In addition to the release date, Ubisoft had also indicated that there will be a gold edition of the game. This edition will come with a season pass, giving players access to future characters, quests, and battles, as well as the Galactic Prestige pack, which is a cosmetic kit containing weapons and character skins. Are you excited about another Mario Rabbids game?
No, I've never been able to get in. I tried. I bought the first one. I couldn't get into it. I've never been able to get into these XCOM style. Okay, you move 2 spaces over to this box and behind this door and wait. I'll go over here and hide behind this thing. And there's something about it that's never quite clicked with me. I mean, it seems like they've been quite popular. Those games are just not my cup of tea. And
Right.
honestly, I've never got past the idea of Mario and the Rabbids. Like, Mario is the number 1 S tier video game icon of all time. What the fuck is he doing slumming it with these stupid fucking rabbits? It's
Have
like
you played-
Kendrick Lamar doing a collab with me. Like, why would he come down to my fucking level?
I would pay to see that.
Why would he do that?
Have you
Why would he do that?
Have you played that first one?
Which one? The Rabbids game?
The original Mario Rabbids game, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I bought it and
Yeah.
I couldn't get it. I
Okay.
tried it. I couldn't get
Yeah,
into into the style.
I think
But it just
the-
seems so weird. Like, why did Nintendo agree to that? I
It-
would have
I-
hung when Ubisoft called and said, "Hey, Rabbids," I would have just fucking hung up on them.
Yeah, I think the fun thing about it is they kind of lean into it a little bit as it goes on, where they're like, the Mario part of the universe is clearly very uncomfortable with the Rabbids part of the universe, and the fact that the Rabbids are like shoving themselves into Mario's worlds is like a little gag that they do use. But I can understand why, because there's only so much of the Rabbids. The Rabbids are filed in the exact same category as the Minions, where it's like, it's not funny, please stop. It's like annoying to me. But the new game seems interesting. For me, the interesting thing is like, I wonder if it's missed this moment. Like I feel like there was such a lot of goodwill around the original Rabbids game, and people were excited for more. But then it's been so long that I was excited for it. I remember being excited for it when they first announced it, and then when I saw it on the Direct, I felt nothing, and I was like, "Huh." I kind of like not excited as I thought I would be. Does that? Could it mean like others
No,
are
I
in a
get it. I
similar
mean,
position?
I mean, clearly the games have an audience, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing a sequel. The previous games have done well enough that they're going to continue doing them. And fair play. Not everyone has to be for me or for you. There are people that enjoy these games, and it's a different type of game. It's something a bit different. It's nice. In a positive way. It's good to see Mario. I always like when Mario shows up in different kinds of games.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun. I just don't understand the Rabbids connection. Like Mario and Sonic teaming up, I kind of get, because Sonic is at least in the same kind of stratospheric. He's not Mario. He'll never be Mario, but at least he's in the same kind of area, the same, roughly the same level. But like, can you imagine if Mario like did a team up with like Crash Bandicoot? You'd be like, man, Mario fell off. What the fuck is he
What's
doing
going on?
hanging out with Crash Bandicoot? And that's how I feel about the Rabbids.
Why is Mario hanging around with Gex?
Yeah,
Very
like what the
strange.
fuck? Like Mario and Bubsy team up. Like what the fuck is that? Mario got desperate. He must have bills to pay.
I kind of want that, honestly.
Mario going through a messy divorce, you know?
Yep, that's he's got to
He's
slum
got
it
to
every
pay
now
the
and then.
bills, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to pay
Mario
the bills. It's
basically
like,
turns
listen,
into the video game Nick
yeah,
Cage. I'll just fucking do
exactly.
anything as long as the check clears.
Exactly. He's like,
Yeah.
as they pay me, I'll appear. I've got a kingdom to try and save, but I've also got many unclaimed kids to look after.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mario and Rabbids releasing October 20th. Another game coming to the Switch announced is Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, written by Darren Bontheus, GameSpot, number 5 video game website in the world. Capcom has announced Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, a compilation of 10 classic games that will be released in 2023 on Switch, PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. Originally available on the Game Boy Advance console, the first game in the series were released back in 2001. The full list of games includes Mega Man Battle Network, Battle Network 2, Battle Network 3 White, Battle Network 3 Blue, Battle Network 4 Red Sun, Battle Network 4 Blue Moon, Battle Network 5 Team Proto Man, Battle Network 5 Team Colonel, Battle Network 6 Cyber Beast Gregor, and Battle Network 6 Cybeast Falzar. So a lot of those games are coming out. Similar to other retro compilations such as Capcom Fighting Collection and Capcom Arcade Stadium, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection will have a gallery that consists of over 1,000 illustrations and more than 150 songs from across the series to explore. The full collection will also be made available as separate digital volumes. Mega Man Battle Legacy Network, Battle Network Legacy Volume 1 and Volume 2, as well as PS4 and physical Switch editions. If you're not familiar with this series, Battle Network is set in a near future world where the internet has evolved into a network society. People carry PETs with them and their mobile devices equipped with sentient programs called net navies, which they use to explore a network that has fallen prey to a new form of cybercrime. As Lan Hikari and his NetNav Megaman.exe, players will have to solve cases and crimes in this digital landscape. It's got high resolution, a filter to remove the jaggy Game Boy Advance edges from the game, and it will be a smoother visual experience. These games are beloved. The Battle Network Mega Man games. There's a hell of a lot of them. You can tell at some point they started adopting the Pokemon dual release style thing. But yeah, again, another game series that I think a lot of people are going to dig because the Battle Network games are generally quite good. You got any familiarity with them? Or are you interested?
No, I had a really weird reaction to this today because I didn't see the direct in real time because I slept in. But and I woke up and started scrolling through the tweets. Oh, yeah, Portal, that's cool. Persona, awesome. Nier, all these games are coming to the Switch. And then the very first thing I saw was a tweet from Patrick Klepek saying, "Oh, Mega Man collection, whatever.
Mhm.
This is great. I finally get to check out these games." I'm like, how the fuck has Klepek never played a Mega Man game? But then I realized it's not like the core Mega Man. It's this thing,
Yeah.
Battle Network, which I had never heard of. I didn't even know. I've never heard of. I'm very familiar with Mega Man, obviously.
Mhm.
Never heard of Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah, they were contained into on basically like portable platforms for a while. They have a little more of an anime vibe to them, but they are generally quite good. They have this like isometric angle as well, which kind of they look very non-traditional from a Mega Man perspective.
Okay.
They certainly don't play exactly like you expect a Mega Man game to play, like side scrolling. They're a little more like tile based almost. And they're like strategy based as well. Way more involved experiences, but they're fun. They're worth checking out at least one. They have a good vibe to them, a kind of like youthful energy and exuberance to them that is like important for Mega Man. And like the Battle Network collection, I'm sure is going to go down a treat for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that's going to go down a treat is Return to Monkey Island, which is headed to Nintendo
Yes.
Switch first on consoles. The long-awaited, this is written by Phil Hornshaw at GameSpot. The long-awaited Return of Monkey Island series, Return to Monkey Island, is officially coming to Nintendo Switch. In fact, it's the first place you're going to find the point-and-click adventure games on consoles, according to Nintendo Direct. Return to Monkey Island sees creator Ron Gilbert back to write and direct the game, which continues a story that began in the 1990s adventure games The Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge. It was announced in April. No release date for it yet. The trailer that they released includes Guybrush Threepwood giving an account of the exploits in the story so far. Not much known about it other than who's working on it. Gilbert is joined in designing the game by Dave Grossman, who led the design on The Secret of Monkey Island, and the art director is Rex Krell of Knights and Bikes and Tearaway fame. And the trailers have already revealed a papercraft-esque art style to the game. And there's also a website for it as well now. It's exciting. Monkey Island, Return to Monkey Island continues to be a thing, which I'm surprised to see in the modern day.
It's super exciting to see, especially for us old school gamers who remember the originals, and it really does seem like they're bringing this back in the right way. Like the original core creative team, like you said, Ron Gilbert, Dave Grossman, the original voice of Guybrush is there. Like I turned on that. But by the way, go to the website. I don't know if you've done this yet, Sam, but go to the website because the website actually functions like a little miniature Monkey Island point and click adventure. It's where you get to do the dialogue choices and move the point and click around the screen and stuff. It's really, really well done. And it plays the music like I watched the trailer. As soon as I heard the music, again, talk about the music and the importance of it in video games. As soon as I heard that Monkey Island theme, I was like transported back to the 90s. And the only thing that I thought I found slightly interesting about it was they talk about how this game continues on the story from Monkey Island 1 and 2. There was a Monkey Island 3, but is that considered like the black sheep of the family or something? Like they're not acknowledging that?
Yeah, I guess that, and is that the Telltale one? No, Tales.
No,
there was the Telltale series as well. Yeah, I guess those two aren't counted in the canon.
Yeah, I don't know if for some reason they're kind of like forget that one ever existed or something. But yeah, obviously 1 and 2, LeChuck's Revenge, those were considered the classics. And I'm just really, really glad Monkey Island's coming back. Like, what's not to like?
What is not to like? We've got a few more stories to read, but before we do that, we're gonna give you a hit of ads. Remember, you can go to patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames where you can get the show ad free. If you haven't done that, you're about to get some ads in your face.
This podcast is brought to you by something Tim literally uses every day. AG1. Tim's birthday is June 30th, and he decided to give himself the gift of taking care of his body with AG1. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things! Tim mixes AG1 with his water, loves the taste, and says he's feeling better than ever. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, and Athletic Greens is a climate neutral certified company. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance.
We got 2 stories left. The first one comes from Tom Ivan at VGC, who writes, the crew for Sony's Horizon 2074 TV show includes The Boys and The Expanse talent. First details about the crew working on Sony's upcoming Horizon TV adaptation has been revealed, as spotted by Jeff Grubb. You may know him from GiantBomb.com. A list of crew members attached to the project was posted on the Directors Guild of Canada, Ontario's website. The list contains 27 names, including the first assistant director, Jack Boehm, of The Boys, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, and art director, Michelle Brady, The Expanse, and Saw 2. Sony announced in May that it was working on a TV adaptation of Horizon, which will stream on Netflix. Grubb subsequently claimed that the show was called Horizon 2074, and it would take place across 2 timelines. The PlayStation games 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn and 2021's Horizon Forbidden West are set some 1,000 years after the fall of mankind. The show, as pitched right now, is called Horizon 2074, and it will split its time between the timeline you see in the games and the timeline of when things begin to fall, Grubb claimed in a recent Giant Bomb video show that is The Morning Mess. A daily news show, much like this one. The idea is that this is not a reboot or a remake or some sort of reimagining of the game's storyline. It will take place parallel and sort of explain other elements that happened in the game. I feel like that's the right approach for a Horizon TV series. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm open-minded about it. I think there's plenty of good material there to make an interesting story. Um, obviously the way that the game does it is, it's all set in the far future, and what happened back in the past is like that's really kind of the revelatory stuff when you get to the bottom. I always thought it was interesting. Like you're running around this world, it's like, wait, so this is like there's all this technology, but it's also feels kind of prehistoric. Like what happened to this world? And then as you get towards the end, you start to understand like how the world ended up the way that it did. And I thought, it's interesting. Like, it wasn't my favorite story of the last 10 years or whatever, but I thought it
Mm,
was pretty good. Mostly watched my wife Leah play through it, and she enjoyed it a lot.
mm,
And I think this is an interesting approach as well, because the thing is, right, at this point, like the cat's out of the bag, right? In terms of that reveal, like in terms of what happened to the world, that's already been revealed to millions of gamers. And so to try and kind of pull that trick off again, like anyone who's any familiarity of the games is like, yeah, we know all this. So why
mm.
not just get out in front of that and do it in a way that allows them to explore kind of the downfall timeline, the time frame of the downfall, how they kind of swap back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
Will be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I've never been one of these people that's like, as soon as they announce like that they're going to do a TV show or a movie based on this or that, oh, it's doomed to fail. That'll never work. Like, wait and
Yeah.
see. You never know.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm willing to give it a shot. I feel like Horizon is a franchise where I have definitely seen things that I'm like, I'm not sure about that one. But Horizon feels like a universe that could adapt well, and I think that's what I want most from it. I'm not as fanatical about my love for Horizon as a lot of other people are. I think they're absolutely fine. And like as a narrative experience, I think like they never those stories never stick with me, and those characters never stick with me. The what I want most out of it is to learn a little more about the world and what's
Mm-hmm.
going on, and some of the other stories that aren't Aloy. And this feels like it's primed to do that in an interesting way. I love the idea of them kind of stepping away from Aloy and the main exploits to tell a little more about the kind of like rise and fall of this civilization, and where we get it to where we see it in the games. I think it could really help kind of not pad out, but like really supplement the universe and give it a little more depth and a little more texture that I feel is kind of has been missing from it. My problem with the with the Horizon games has always been, it's very weird to say, but like it's such a nice world, but it feels constructed, if you know what I mean. Like it feels like a artifice in a very in a way that doesn't it does other open worlds don't feel that way to me. There's something about it that I'm always
Yeah,
like,
kinda. I mean, I guess the way
yeah,
I don't know if I'm making the same point as you, but the kind of way I would put it is it's almost like they kind of they did it backwards. Like they knew what they wanted the world to look like, and so they
yeah.
created a plot that would allow them to get there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree
Like they
100%.
wanted
Like
to have
that's how
these
I feel.
giant robot dinosaurs wandering around. It's like, well, what story would allow robot dinosaurs to be a thing? You know?
Yeah, and that's it. That's why I think this is good, because that the kind of conceits that that they present to you to get you to that point are very thin. Like I don't buy a lot of it. It feels like very hand wavy, whereas this feels like an opportunity for them to really like color it in, and like put some more text in between those lines that we've been reading between, and
Hmm.
really give us the opportunity to dig in. So it's exciting. I hope it works out, and it definitely seems like they got some good talent on it.
Yeah.
Speaking about talent being on things, not a lot of talent being on Halo right now, because Halo Infinite's melee bugs aren't fixed. That is because the devs are working on other things right now. This comes from Owen S. Good over at Polygon, who writes, Halo Infinite, which launched in November, is still suffering from online desynchronization issues that frequently mean melee strikes don't register. A 343 Industries developer on Monday said that the problem has lingered because developers who would ordinarily address it and fix it are instead assigned to other parts of the game. 343 designer Brian Berryhill commented in a Reddit thread about the melee desync issues, and while he acknowledged there's a lot of factors, tried to explain why these are still a problem. The TLDR of it is the devs that would work on these fixes have been allocated to other Infinite work, he wrote. That work, Berryhill said, had a knock-on effect to other networking fixes, but not to the melee and around the wall shots. Berryhill added that the developers should be returning to his team soon. Obviously, Reddit thread started thanked Berry Hill for the reply, but acknowledged that they were pretty disheartened to hear this isn't at the top of the team's priority of fixes. The community has been extremely outspoken on this issue, and I think it's one of the top reasons people are leaving the game due to frustration caused, they added. This is wild, right? Like, it's such a fundamental part of the loop in Halo.
Like half of my kills in Infinite were melee kills.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's gun, grenades, and melee. That's the trifecta of Halo gameplay. And if you're one part of that trifecta is broken, and you are actively aware of it being broken, and it's not at the top of your priorities, it's
if in
wild.
doubt, just get in close and mash that right bumper or whatever it was that I had mapped to melee, and like you get a lot of kills melee wise.
It's like being, hey, like we know we just sold you a bike, and we know the gears don't work on it, but it's not a priority for us right now. It's like, what are you talking about? It's fundamental to riding the bike.
First of all, it sounds like they just need to hire some more people. Maybe they're trying to, I don't know. But if they just don't have enough people to go around, they need to make sure it's not like, oh well, yeah, we're gonna let this. It kind of feels like 343 right now kind of feels like Overcooked. Just like running around constantly. Oh shit, this is burning. Wait, over here. No, you got to clean the plates. Like everyone's just running around, like trying to make sure, like to prevent everything from fucking boiling over. Hire some more people. But just on a wider note, listen, we've talked about this on the Xcast many times. I think it's kind of a grim story. Halo Infinite, if you remember, it wasn't that long ago, had a terrific launch, right? When they shadow dropped it, it worked out of the gate. Everyone was like, oh my God, an online game that actually works on day one. That's a fucking novelty all by itself. Right. And it was really fun. People, oh my God, old school Halo. It's back. It feels good. I was addicted to it. I was playing it like 8-10 hours a day. I fucking love playing ranked games. I was never a Halo player big time anyway before Infinite, and I was really, really into it. I was loving it. I was raging. I loved every minute of it. And then I started to kind of fall off. But they had such a great start, and it just seems like they've squandered all that goodwill because now they're really struggling, weirdly, in a way that a lot of shooters, like Battlefield 2042, has been a train wreck. It seems like maybe they're starting to right that ship. Warzone has got major problems right now. There's any shooter you can complain about to some extent or another. But yeah, Halo, after such a great start, I don't know how they managed to fumble the ball, but it feels like they did.
It's a real shame because it felt like this is do or die for Halo, and it kind of didn't. It started so strong, and I was like, they need to keep this momentum going, and the momentum fell off almost immediately. Like, it was so sad to see. And like, from what we're hearing, the co-op is going to be amazing. It will make it really like fun, and I'm sure that will give it a bit of a shot in the arm. But I don't know, man. It feels like their priorities are all over the place. The lack of communication around what people can look forward to, the content updates are not being amazing, and the various controversies around the game, like some really boneheaded PR moves as well. Like, it feels like Halo is just stumbling its way through existence right now, which is such a shame.
They need to have. We had Joseph Staten on the Xcast just recently, and he was, I like Joe. He's a cool guy, but like he was almost just like apologetic all the way through in terms of, we know we've got to earn the trust back of players, and we know we've got a lot to do, but like, he was saying all the right things, and they're acknowledging it. They're not like problems. What problems? Like, they know they've got problems, and I'm sure they are like really trying to apply themselves to address them all, because this is not like fucking Outriders or Avengers, like some game that is just on its way to the trash heap, and we'll just move on to the next thing. It's it's fucking Halo. Right, this is their flagship. They cannot afford to fuck this up. They've got to get it fixed. And so they're obviously highly motivated to do so. But we're not seeing a lot. Like season 2, people were kind of underwhelmed by it. I'm wondering if they are going to get to where they're going to need like some kind of soft reboot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like once the campaign co-op comes out, like I think they need to do a big kind of like a sprucing up, dust it, and like do a big like drop on it. It's like it's coming dangerously close to Marvel's Avengers territory, which is not a place that you want to be with a live service game, and you definitely don't want to be there if you're Halo. I think it's going to be a while until we get Halo into a much better place, Gary. But if I wanted to know what's in a good place right now, as in what's coming out today, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software on each and every platform, as listed by the KindaFunny Games daily show hosts each and every weekday.
Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah,
I can't hear the music.
Yeah,
Is that what you do, Tam?
Yeah,
Fucking hell, talk about
I don't
phoning it
have. Yeah, I thought you're supposed to. You don't sing it. You don't sing it.
I don't sing it. No, here's
I
the
wasn't
thing.
prepped on this. I wasn't prepped on this.
I don't want to be this person, but I've
Sure.
never sung it. I've
Wow.
always. So if anyone's dropping the ball, sadly, it is you, Roger.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get ready for your prima donna routine over here. I apologize.
I also would like you to know, Roger, that I requested M&Ms.
Oh.
And a bottle of water. I
Okay,
did not
well-
get my M&Ms or my bottle of water.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what is the point of a rider if no one's gonna honor it.
God, I'm taking L's all day today. All day today.
Honestly, I couldn't even sing that song if you asked me to. I don't even remember. It's like
Who do you think? Okay, Tam.
No, yeah.
Tam, I got one for you, and I'll open this up to Roger as well, real quick. Let's say
Sure.
that everyone on the let's say that KindaFunny blew up like real big, like became mega famous.
Yeah.
Right. And all of them became like fucking BTS of video games.
Yeah.
Which one of them do you think would be the biggest diva?
Oh, I feel like
The one who is gonna like throw coffee in the PA's face because it's not the right temperature or whatever.
I think it's gonna be the one you least expect, and
Really?
it's gonna be Tim. I think it's
Well,
gonna
yeah.
be Tim.
No,
Maybe.
You know why?
Why?
You know why? I think it's gonna be an arc. I think when you hit it big, it's gonna be a moment where Tim realizes we finally did it, and he's gonna be like, I have work. He's gonna be like, I have worked so
hard for this
fucking hard.
moment.
I have work, and it's gonna like open. It's just gonna like turn him into like just a maniac, where he's gonna be like, I did this. I put this thing together.
Yeah.
I want my M&Ms, and then he's gonna have a moment where he's like verbally like just screaming at some poor PA,
Yeah.
and then there's gonna be a silence, and then like the camera's gonna pan up, and like everyone's gonna be looking at him, and he's gonna be shaking, and then it's gonna just be like, what have I become?
He's like, what have I become?
Yeah, what have I become? And he's like, and then like this PA is just gonna be like trembling, and he's gonna be like,
I get the
run
general
away.
point about the one you least expect. That tracks for me. But Tim, I can't allow myself to think that of him.
I think it's gonna be part of an arc where he becomes an even better person.
I see that, but I also think that Kevin he wouldn't be mean to people, but he would ask a lot of things from in the rider. He would be like, I do want the green M&Ms. I do want 10 different bottles of water. Like, for sure. Absolutely.
I feel like that would be like Kevin would just test things.
See how far he could go. Absolutely.
Yeah. And he'll be like, I want the peanut M&Ms, but I want the peanut to be removed from his
I feel
head.
like Kevin would be the one, when you're the PA who gets handed his rider, you're looking at it going, how the fuck am I supposed to get this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He wants a what? A fucking lemur?
He wants hard-boiled eggs without the yolk. Oh my god. Out today we have DNF Duel for PC, PS4, and PS5. Disguise 6 Complete for PC, PS4, PS5. Phobia, the Saint Dinfa Hotel, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. MX versus ATV Legends on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. Overwatch 2 Beta on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Portal Collection on Switch, of course. New dates, of course, as we mentioned, Persona 5 Royal, October 21st. Nier Automata, October 6th. Harvestella, another game from the Direct, which is like a Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley type game. Worth checking out if you're into those games. November 4th. And then Blank coming February 23rd. We are going to skip the Arena Mail, mainly because there is none.
Is that Overwatch 2 beta? Is that open?
No, you had to sign up for it. But I think the sign-ups might still be open. I'm not 100% sure, honestly.
Because I'd be interested in checking that. I used to like Overwatch back in the day.
It's really fun. Like I think I'm not sure because I was part of the alpha, so I just rolled into the new stuff. So I think you sign up or you have to like pre-order or something like that. You can buy your way into it if you want to. But yeah, you can do that if you want. It's worth checking out. It's really fun. I checked on the You're Wrong, and surprisingly, there's nothing in there. Great. I love to see it.
Good. They finally realized that.
Yeah. One, we don't get things wrong, and two, when we get things wrong, we don't want to hear about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sure.
exactly
that's
right.
how it goes.
And 3, it's Roger's fault when you get when you get
Yeah.
things wrong. Yeah.
Roger's fault for not getting the peanut M&Ms. So this
Yeah,
week's host.
I keep thinking about that hard-boiled egg thing because I was thinking like, fuck, the Kevin thing with the hard-boiled eggs without the yolks. Because I'd be like, the PA would be like, fuck, I got to take the yolks out of all the hard-boiled eggs. He's like, no, you don't understand. When I crack the hard-boiled egg, I don't want there to be a fucking yolk inside of it. Just figure it. Just figure it out.
I feel like Kevin would do it where he would go, I want hard-boiled eggs with no yolk, and I want you to take the yolk out without touching it. That is the kind of level
Yeah.
of Kevin where I
Yeah.
imagine he'd be like,
It's a
'cause he wants to see
challenge.
he wants it, but he also wants to see some ingenuity in it. So I feel like that's what he would do. Wednesday, tomorrow's hosts are Blessing, and in this document it says question mark, which leads me to believe Blessing will be hosting with the Riddler. Edward Nigma is
Wow.
going to be here tomorrow, everyone. You truly love to see it. And then Thursday, it's Greg and Mike Bithell of Bithell Games.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then Friday is Blessing and the Riddler again.
Oh my God. Strikes again.
Gary,
Yes.
what's going on with Fortress? Like, do you want to give us
Issue
a quick
2 out
update?
today.
Out today, baby. I'm excited to sit down and read it.
Kill off a major character.
It's Batman.
Shocks and surprises. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
so-
got it all.
Make sure you go and check out issue 2 of Batman Fortress, written by our very own Gary. If you haven't read issue 1, make sure you
Issue
check that
1.
as well. It's fantastic. I'm excited to see more of it. If you're watching this live on Twitch, we are going to transition smoothly into the Outriders DLC stream featuring Greg and others. If you want to catch that stream later, you can subscribe to youtube.com/KindaFunnyPlays. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, we run you through all the nerdy news you need to know about to make your miserable little life a little more exciting. We've got a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. So stick around for that. I know your life isn't miserable. Gaming just makes everything better. Otherwise, until next time, laugh and grow fat.